This is the Glenn Beck program.
Well, hello, America, and welcome to the Glenn Beck program and to the Blaze. This is the network that you are building. Let me go up to the mosaic. These are some of the things that are happening today. This is a device that we use here internally that it allows us to see what our audience is interested in and what they're reading about. And I think tonight's show is going to be the #1 thing here very, very soon. The awesome adapter, your 12-gauge shotgun that makes it the ultimate survival rifle. Well, I gotta read that one. The 28 greatest moments from the angry New York City protests where communism and capitalism met. Really phenomenal story. And what John McCain witnessed at the U.S.-Mexico border will astonish, well, it won't astonish you. It did astonish him. He saw somebody climb over that big fence. How did that happen? I want to kind of focus in a way the 28 greatest moments from an angry New York City protest where communism and capitalism met, because that is kind of the theme. Now, we're not covering that story tonight. We're going to make news ourselves on something else that we have now covered in 2 episodes, but this is really important. I don't think there's anything more important than what we're covering tonight. If we expect to be able to have a republic and have freedom anywhere in the world. This is going to sound like a crazy conspiracy theory tonight, but I'm going to show you the documentation. It is the progressive takeover of American schools, and I want you to know it is both sides. This is not an Obama thing. This is not a Democrat thing. This is a progressive thing. I saw a story earlier today in the Idaho Statesman, of all things, a GOP guy, the representative of the what is it, School Instruction Board or whatever it is up in Idaho. He's getting heat now from listeners and viewers of mine for his role in Common Core. And what he said is amazing, and this is really important that you understand that this is coming your way. The most recent misinformation was spread by Glenn Beck on an episode of his show earlier this month. What you're going to see tonight will feature no speculation, no conspiracies, no theories of mine, just the facts. When we get into theories of mine, I will completely let you know, and you're completely able to dismiss those theories if you'd like. But I want to show you the sources because it is hiding right underneath our nose, right in plain sight. And it has been in the works for years now. But it really took root after the passing of this. This is the stimulus package. This is all of the stuff that was in the stimulus package. So this is source #1, the government copy of the Congress's stimulus package passed. This is the executive summary of the education part of the stimulus package. This is the education summary. This is the Family Educational Rights and Privacy Act. This is another government document that we're going to be quoting tonight. This is promoting grit, tenacity, and perseverance. This is from the U.S. Department of Education, right here. And we're going to be quoting this. This is from a company that is involved. This is off of their website. We'll explain this when we get to it. And a press release from Bill and Melinda Gates. So there is no opinion. These are the first sources. I urge you not to listen to me or anybody else. I urge you to go to the primary source. Now, let's start with the stimulus package, because this is the top priority after President Obama came into office in 2009, the stimulus package. And I remember when I first saw it, because this is the highlights. I remember saying to my staff in the kitchen in New York, and it was early in the morning, I said, who wrote this? This is not something you just threw together since November. And the president, to get this passed, went from hope to fear-mongering in the blink of an oath.
We're not moving quickly because we're trying to jam something down people's throats. We're moving quickly because we're told that if we don't move quickly, that the economy is going to keep on getting worse. We'll have another 2 or 3 or 4 million jobs lost this year.
Okay. They're not trying to jam anything down your throat. They're not trying to get anything by you. Okay? Now, I know I spent hours mocking the wasteful spending in this. It was easy. Millions of dollars on turtle tunnels. Remember that? Interactive dance software, ant research. It was almost too easy to mock this. And there was a lot of stuff that we did find. This is what led us to the Tides Foundation and the Apollo Alliance and to Van Jones, was this document. But we missed an awful lot, because we were all complaining about sidewalks to nowhere and studies on the effects of inequality among monkeys. I'm not kidding you, that's in here too. What we speculated at the time was, is he rushing? Is he putting all this through? Not because he thought turtle tunnels would help the economy, but because they knew there was enough turtle tunnels and ant research in there for fodder for the idiots, including me, that you'd miss some really important stuff. Much more important goals that didn't want anybody to focus on. I said that at the time. Contained in here is a machine, and you don't want them to turn it on. Do you remember me saying that about 2009? There's a machine in here, and you do not want to see this thing turned on. They've turned it on. They've turned it on, and I know what the machine is, at least one part of it, and it is horrifying. In February 2009, the Secretary of Education, Arne Duncan, praised this stimulus bill for including, and I want to show it to you so you know that it's not a conspiracy theory. I'll show you the exact quote. This is what he's praising here. From the stimulus bill, the $5 billion in the American Recovery and Investment Act, which states $5 billion shall be available for education finance incentive grants, section blah, 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 of the Elementary and Secondary Education Act. Okay, got it? Now, Duncan described this one line as absolutely historic opportunity, and oh, it was. You and I would actually call this bribery. Race to the top gave the federal government billions of dollars to dangle in front of cash-starved local schools and saying, look, yeah, you know what, you're going to need to hire new teachers, right? All you have to do is just do a couple of things for us. Time of weakness and vulnerability, people signed up. Sign up. You can get all of this money. We'll help you do everything you want. And they signed. Now, of course, there's some strings attached. One of those strings was a provision that encouraged the bribed states to develop data systems for collecting large amounts of information on public school children. Oh, this one is harmless. If you don't recognize what the machine is, it's harmless. Remember I said they are building a machine? I don't know what it is, but they're building a machine right here. In the stimulus package, the state will establish a longitudinal data system that includes the elements described in Section 6014, blah, 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 the American Competes Act. What is that? I don't know. I have no idea what that is. No, just another piece to the machine. What is that? Well, race to the top, their executive summary, which is right here, the executive summary, has the use of data systems in it, right here. Data systems to support instruction, implementing a statewide longitudinal data system, and where are the pictures of it? I think the pictures of it, I think, are in this one. So, 4 years after the stimulus bill is passed, we have a system here that we don't even know what it is, because you don't have this one yet. This just came out. All 50 states either maintain or are capable of maintaining extensive databases on public schools. Now, these databases will track all kinds of personal information, including, now this I want to show you, this is the Promoting Grit, and this is coming from the Office of Educational Technology, the U.S. Department of Education. See it right here at the bottom, U.S. Department of Education. This just came out, I think, in February, right? Is that right? I don't have the date on it, but it just came out. February 14th, 2013, so it just came out after the election. Now, it includes right here MRI machines for the classroom. What? MRI machines? But it also goes on to talk about we're going to be collecting health histories, income information, how much does each family make, voting status for the family, blood types, blood test results, homework completion, hair color, eye color, you know, that kind of thing. Oh, also whether your kid was premature at birth or not, if they have any birthmarks, even bus stop arrival times. Oh man, this is actually all the stuff that they can collect on your kid. Where would you store all this stuff, really? Oh, yeah, that's right. They're building that huge data storage facility in Utah. This is the company, one of the companies that are collecting data on your kids in school, and these are the things that they can collect on your kid legally. Now, you might say, it's against the law. You can't just take information about my kid and sell it to some corporation. Oh no, yeah, they can. Because they've bypassed Congress. They've basically rewritten federal privacy statutes. This is the groundwork for a national student database that will track your kid's personal information from preschool, and they say it will end at the age of 20. Now, at the time this bill was debated, I warned people, I warned the states, do not take the stimulus money. Watch. And the best thing we can do is take control and push the government back, the federal government, and empower ourselves at the state level. But I'll tell you, they know, the federal government knows, and anybody who takes this stimulus money, you're going to have a hard time backing out of things, because that's one of the arguments that's going to be used. Well, wait a minute, hang on just a second. You just took all this stimulus money. Okay. Now you're telling me that the federal regulations don't last? I don't own the rights to my shows at Fox. I wish I did, but I don't. I know we talked about this stuff over and over and over again. The 1,073 pages of the Stimulus Act that was written by Van Jones and the Apollo Alliance, the Tides Foundation. It was never about saving or creating jobs. It was a ruse. It was never about, we got to pass this stuff because the economy is going to collapse. It was a radical, progressive agenda. And when I say progressive, there are liberals, and you'll meet one today, that voted for Barack Obama, thought I was a conspiracy theorist until he found this. Doesn't really want to be on this show. We don't agree. This is not a radical left agenda. This is a radical progressive agenda. I told you, warned, watch out for Tides, the unions, and anyone in the president's inner circle, like the corporations, including GE. More on their involvement on this in a second. But the inner circle wants the end of the capitalist system as we know it. Now, I know that sounds like crazy talk, but back when this desk was occupied by a guy in a wheelchair, FDR, there was another guy named Stuart Chase. Stuart Chase was big. He's a big progressive, and in his book that was printed in the 1940s is The Road We Are Traveling. The president has used quotes in speeches from this book. And he talks about business back as usual, question mark, in chapter 4, free enterprise into X. He said the free enterprise system, once we get out of this war, we're going to have to change a few things, and we're going to change capitalism, the free enterprise system, into, he said, I don't want to call it communism or statism. I don't want to call it communism because it's not. It's something entirely different. He said, but it will appear this way. It will have a strong central government. Check. It will have a strong executive arm, in fact, stronger than the legislative or judicial branch. Done. Government control of banking, credit, and security. Done. Underwriting of food, housing, and medical. Done and done. Deficit spending to finance underwriting. Done. Abandoned goals for the managed concurrency. Done. Heavy taxation of estates and income of the wealthy. Done. Youth and people dedicated to government ideologies. This is where we're at tonight. Welcome to the new system X, the progressive future. You could call it state capitalism, and it is. We warned about this. We warned that I remember saying on the show, China, man, doesn't sound like a good idea, and yet everybody says China is the future. China, a dictator, a one-party system, and that's what it is. I don't care if you call them GOP or the DNC. It's one party. It's why you vote for one, you get the same crap. Progressive party. And it tells people what to do. Just like the Chinese government. They pick your kid to be a gymnast. That's great. You're not going to see them for 3 years, but man, they're going to train and they're going to be great. And their future will be set when they are 4. What you will see tonight is pretty darn similar to that state capitalism. Microsoft, GE, and others mining our schools and the data of our families and our children, and nudge our children into the jobs the state deems most needed for the future. You see, System X is creating state capitalism, a government run by a single party in control of labor, media, EDU, and banking, joined by big business to further their mutual collective goals. This part is my theory. I want you to understand, I'm off the reservation. I'm on to my theory. Corporations need capital for investments, educated and trained workers, and global markets. The government wants power to control and plan. So to be able to merge these two, labor needs to be there to give the illusion of choice. Because the government and the labor needs to be against the corporations. But if these two are together, you need to feel like you're not being manipulated, like you have some sort of say in something. So labor in bed here, which is in bed here, gives you the illusion of a struggle. Medical will control you. Guns, if I take them off the street, will control you. The DHS will limit your travel and make sure that nobody is in the wrong place. Banks control the finance to finance the capital for the corporations. Education to train and to indoctrinate. The media to teach and use propaganda. The only thing left here is food. But if you give food to the global corporations, which are also involved here, they get food to control and they have a global market to sell to. Whoa, this is a perfect situation, isn't it? And you need intelligence gathering and giant corporations. These are just two we're going to name tonight. Now, one of the strings attached to this, to the race to the top, was something we've called, or something we've talked about before, called Common Core. If you, as a state, wanted the education cash to help your teachers, to hire teachers, you just had to implement Common Core. It was part of the stimulus deal. Well, guess who's funneling millions of dollars into Common Core? Oh, that's right, GE. In fact, GE gave $18 million to Common Core, whose chief said, the GE Foundation is going deep in this work, and its commitment to improving public education for all students exactly is what it's going to take to seed real and lasting change, especially during these tough economic times. So through bribery, your cash-strapped state was forced to sign on to Common Core, which is being funded by at least one corporation. They give you the middle finger to privacy laws, and your kids are poked and prodded and trained. Now, this part gets a little spooky. Remember I was talking to you about the MRIs? Let me go back to the same report again. This is from the Department of Education. This came out just in February. They have some disturbing plans. Because I'm looking at that MRI thing, and I'm like, what is that? Plans for data mining on your children. Part of the student monitoring from kindergarten to graduation will include functional magnetic resonance imaging, MRIs, and, quote, other sensors. Sensors provide constant parallel streams of data and are used with data mining techniques and self-report measures to examine frustration, motivation, flow, confidence, boredom, and fatigue. Now, here are their tools for the data mining. I just want you to look right here, but there they are. Now, what are these? Well, they include facial expression camera, posture, analysis seats. I love that one. They're going to analyze your kid's posture. They have a pressure mouse to see if they're stressed out. And who doesn't need a nice, fashionable, wireless skin conductance sensor? that's strapped to your kid's wrist all the time. The report continues. Now, while it is impractical, if I may continue on this, while it is impractical to use MRI in the classroom, Bill and Melinda Gates Foundation will point out that researchers are beginning to use multiple methods to explore how specific brain activity is correlated with other cognitive and affective indicators that are practical to measure in school settings. Oh, well, thank you, Bill and Melinda Gates, for that. It's going to help out the children so much. They're going to be so much better for it. Why don't you parents at the PTA get behind it? They also plan on tracking information on health care, family income, voting status, religious affiliation, extracurricular activity, along with literally hundreds of other attributes on this list. Now, I'd love to hear the explanation on how exactly this all raises the educational standards. They are using your kids as a guinea pig, and quite honestly, it is a glimpse of the disturbing mind of Cass Sunstein in a fantasy sequence. This is a progressive takeover of America's entire school system, and the event horizon on this is so short because they're so far ahead. If you don't gather now as a public and act now in your local and statewide educational systems, you will not be able to stop this. This is a progressive bonanza, and if it's allowed to be in our schools in any form and become the common core of America's next generation, it will destroy America and the system of freedom as we know it. We will be lost, and the corporation in bed with the government will be king. I'm not an anti-corporation guy. Where's the left that hates the corporation? I don't hate the corporation. I'm telling you, the corporations and the government are in bed together, and this is evil stuff. They've got a near 4-year head start. You have to stand up right now, but you get prepared because there will be resistance. You will be called a conspiracy theorist. Do not take my word for it. Go to the government sources. I've shown you every step of the way. Don't take my word for it. This is where the research is found. My team and I will testify to you now. It's only worse when you read it all yourself from the horse's mouth. Don't take it from me. It's much worse. We had a hard time picking from all of this stuff what to share with you. The other thing you're going to be told is that the ship has sailed and it's gone. You can't do anything about it. Get on board. It's too late. No, it's not. No, it's not. If you don't stop it, you have no privacy at all. The data points of collection are horrifying in its completeness. But you have to move. We know.